So our third session today will be presented by Kari Green. Kari is the lecture coordinator for the Adult in Learning and Global Change Master's Program. And she will be presenting the challenges and necessity of transitioning to a new learning platform in a global online master's program. So thank you, Kari.
Hi, thank you for having me. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yes, well, at least I can, yeah.
Yes. Okay, fabulous. Um, yeah, thank you for having me. I'm going to share my screen. I've prepared just a little bit of a PowerPoint here to ensure that I stay on track. One second. Okay, great. Can folks see this? I know it's not in presentation mode, but I'll probably just leave it here.
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, I was invited to speak on the transition that that the program that I run has been doing in our learning management system. So just a bit of background on me. I am a lecturer and coordinator of the Adult Learning and Global Change program. And just to clarify, do I have half an hour or do I have less than that?
You have half an hour for everything,
For
like
every,
25
okay,
minutes
okay.
and like,
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to make sure I don't talk for too long and I leave room for conversation. Yeah, so maybe I will just get right into it. I'll tell you a little bit about the program. I'm going to give you the structure of the Adult Learning and Global Change program, which is in the Faculty of Education. And then I'll talk about our plan for transitioning to Canvas from the previous learning platform we've been using for the past like 15 years of our online master's program. And then I wanted to share because this is like it's like a in progress project. I wanted to share some of the concerns and considerations that have come up so far. And in advance, a big shout out to Natasha and Fiza for all of your help so far. I will continue giving you shout outs throughout this presentation. Okay, so the basics of this program, maybe I should just do slideshow. Sorry, it's a bit distracting with that's better, hey? Yeah. Okay, great. The basics of this program are it's a fully online and fully asynchronous master's program. So it is quite unique. It's 2 years long, and we have a global teaching team. I think what probably makes this the most unique is that it is a partnership between a university in Sweden, a university in South Africa, and then us, University of British Columbia. So um, we have essentially students, about 15 to 20 students from each of those institutions, and then two instructors from each of those institutions. And they all go through the program as a cohort together. Um, and they learn from each of the different instructors that are a part of the program. So am just sharing here um, our advertising for this coming year that we are putting online. So this is our global instructional team. We meet once per year in person, and we rotate between Cape Town and Linköping in Sweden, and then here in Vancouver. uh, I won't name everybody who's a part of this team, but it's been a really wonderful collaboration so far. And this program's been running for more than 20 years as a global online master's program. So it is one of the oldest of its kind. And what's interesting too is students can take this program from anywhere in the world. So it really takes away some of the barriers that people might have geographically. We've had students take it from all over the African continent. We've had students take it from pretty much every continent except Antarctica. Um, so these are the 7 courses that comprise the core of the program. I'm not going to get into the curriculum of the program because that's not what I'm here to talk about. But I will say that the all of the students take these 7 courses together. Now, There are still requirements that they have outside of these 7 courses. So, for example, at one of the institutions, they have to write a thesis, but at UBC, it's exclusively coursework. So they take 3 additional electives in addition to these 7 core courses. But these are the 7 they take all together as one international global cohort. So, as you can imagine, the learning management system that we use is very, very important um, because that's where almost all of our interaction online takes place, is in the learning management system. Um, what
Very
we,
sorry for interrupting you, but we are not seeing your slides, so I just wanted to
oh,
let you know. Sorry for that.
you're not seeing my
Yes,
slides?
now, yes, we're seeing them move. Yeah, and they're
Oh,
not, yeah, thank you. They're not in
can you see them
slideshow.
now?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, so you didn't see this.
No.
Oh my, that's
Sorry,
funny
and
that
thank
nobody said
you.
something sooner. You're a real shy bunch.
Yeah.
And I was
Okay.
talking very quickly, so okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
sorry.
I thought it would look nicer as a slideshow, but clearly that didn't work out. Okay. So yes, this is the slide I was talking about earlier, some of the basics. This is our teaching team that I had mentioned. That's all of us meeting together in Cape Town. And now I'm going to get to where I was, which was talking about the seven courses and the curriculum. Um, okay, so back to my point about the learning management system, it's of utmost importance because we don't really meet in like the students don't meet in person. We do as a faculty team once per year, but the students don't meet in person almost ever unless they take it upon themselves to do so. Um, and what we decided upon, so it has been a source, I would say, like when students have filled out their feedback on the course, all of the courses and the program, the biggest complaint without without a doubt has been the learning management system, which is called Lisam. And it's part of, it is based in Sweden and it was created specifically for their institution and it's a part of Microsoft Teams. So it's similar to Microsoft Teams, or sorry, is that the right term? Yeah, Microsoft Teams, I think. Yeah. Um, and what we identified essentially was, students have complained there was no threaded replies, and so much of the conversations that were happening online really need threaded replies, or else students are constantly searching around for who responded to their comments. Another problem that we had identified with it is it's really not visual, it's not user friendly, and you couldn't even repeat the same course. So with Canvas, we have this amazing ability to just like copy the course and build out from that when you teach it the next year. But we were starting as instructors, we were starting from scratch every year in Lisam and rebuilding the same course. So it was a lot of like additional work that wasn't lending itself to efficiency nor to the learning experience for the students. Um, Also, I think one of the strengths of Canvas is that it has like this quite like I think it's quite nice visually, like you can build it out in such a way that students can easily find their way through, and there's embedded videos, etc. And it was a struggle to embed videos or visuals in the Lisam platform. So we did identify, thanks to many student complaints, that we need to change our learning platform. Now, we also recognize that this is a very long-term goal because for many reasons, administrative reasons, curricular reasons. Um, so we began the conversation, that picture I showed you of us together in Cape Town. We began that conversation back in 2023, and we have continued that conversation, and we are now moving into the taking action component. Um, we anticipate that in this coming academic year is when we will complete the transition. So I thought I would just tell you about what the steps have been so far. Of course, I mentioned already, we've identified the concerns with the existing one. Then, when we were in a group meeting all together, I demonstrated for our global colleagues who they've never seen Canvas before. So I demonstrated what our Canvas platform can do just using the other courses I teach at UBC. So I did show them around some of my courses and what I was able to do and how I was able to do it. And that got them, I think, excited about the possibility of using it. Um, Having said that, there was and continues to be a lot of trepidation around, will I be able to learn it well enough to be able to teach with it? And I definitely know, like, one of our colleagues speaks often to her age and her, can I learn a new platform at this stage? And I've really reassured her because I find that Canvas is so much more user friendly than our existing one. Um, in any case, uh, demonstrated the capabilities of Canvas, and then we really came to an agreement that yes, this is something we not just want to do, but we need to do for the I think continuation and success of our program. The next thing was bless you, Natasha and Faiza, for all of your help so far. And they have attended several of our meetings with our colleagues and I'm just going to say our global faculty team. Um, and really, I think that one of the biggest steps forward was when they described the platform and what the process would look like and how they can support us in the transition and then the continuation. Um, and something that we did after that meeting together, again, you know, when it's something as important as the learning management system and your entire program is online, people are going to have concerns and feel uneasy about all sorts of aspects of, whether they'll be able to learn it, but also administratively, what's that going to look like? How are our students in Sweden going to make sure that they can access the learning platform in Canada? And are we going to be able to get the support we need if our students can't, if they run into problems, etc. So we, together as a group, developed a list of questions and concerns that they had after Natasha and Faiza's demonstration. And we compiled a very long list of these questions, and I brought it to Natasha and Faiza, who have diligently sort of answered each of those questions. And I've brought it back to the team, and that's kind of where we are at present because I'm meeting with them next week and I'm going to go through each of those answers. So there's a lot of like team and collaborative communication that's happening as a part of this process. And what happens next is that we're having individual meetings with each of the instructors. So I had shown you that slide with our 7 courses. I'll go back to it here. Um, each instructor is now going to meet with Faiza individually so that Faiza can take the contents of their existing course and move it into Canvas for us. And she's already done that with my course, and we've demonstrated it and shown it to the group. And so that's taking place over the coming months. Now we're doing it in a phased approach. I'll go back to this course list again. Based on where it occurs in the year, we've decided to, make sure that the first course of the program is done first, and then we go throughout I guess the sequential course offerings of the year. Just because it makes more sense than trying to like get it all done at once. So another aspect of this, which we are going to respond to as needed, is going to be ongoing training sessions with our faculty team, but also resources and training for students who might need to be acquainted with Canvas. But I think we have a lot of those links already because Canvas is being used at UBC. So we'll be able to offer those to our students. Now, the first course, I'll just briefly mention this. We're actually coming up next August is when we will start teaching courses in Canvas instead of Lisam. So it's kind of go time between now and really July, I suppose. So our task now is and I know for me because I teach that course, which is the first of the entire program, we're going to have our 2026 cohort is only going to be on Canvas. And so another consideration that we had was if we have the 2025 cohort who have done 1 year on Lisam, do we then transition them to Canvas in the same year? Or, and then they have to learn a new learning platform, or do we let them finish out that second year in Lisam? So, because that's what they're used to. And the decision that we, came to was that we're going to transition everybody in the same year. And so it will be a little bit of learning for our students. But if I'm being honest, I think our students are much more adaptable than we are as a faculty teaching team. So I think it's more important, like I think making sure that our faculty teaching team feel confident and like ready to teach in this platform and that they're not trying to navigate two completely different LMSs is one of our priorities. Um, so my course will be the first, and I think we'll learn a lot about what needs to be done in the onboarding process. And through that first course, we'll also figure out where any glitches might happen. Here, this is another tool that FISA has developed for us, and this is a course, or it appears as a Canvas course, but it's really where all of our instructional team can now access our resources. And this was something we didn't have in the other platform. It was kind of scattered. So this is a wonderful hub for our global teaching team where we can access the agreement that we have between the institutions. We can access the course calendar for the year, and all of the major resources we need as a teaching team. So that's already been a useful tool that FISA has developed for us. And yeah, like I said, we're meeting next week with the global team, and we'll see how people feel so far at this stage of the game. Now, this is my last slide, and I'm just going to mention a few concerns and considerations that have been front of mind so far. The first is that, educating global program faculty members on a new platform. So this has been, I think this is where most of the unease comes from on our teaching team. But having said that, I have so much confidence in everyone's abilities, and I have confidence in Canvas and also our support team to be able to get everyone through that smoothly. The next one has been to transfer the content from our current LMS over to Canvas. But what's been incredible about this, people were uneasy that they would have to figure it out, but FISA is taking care of all of this for us. So I don't think we could have done it without that kind of teamwork. And the next one is preparing this new cohort. So I'm conscious that, this incoming cohort, we're going to have to work out a lot of small details of how we get non-UBC students to get a CWL. And we already know that it's not a problem because we've practiced it, and because Natasha assured us of this right from the beginning. But I think I'm sure there will be like small pieces that come up as we try to register 60 new students in our cohort, 40 of which are going to not be UBC students. So that will be a challenge. And then setting up the CWLs, I mentioned that already. And ongoing support for students and faculty. I think this is where, in the long game, we will need to just really think about how much support is required. And we have sort of a long-term plan set up with FISA to offer that support, and I'll be there as well. So that's kind of that's where we stand on this, and I would love to hear A, people's questions, but B, if you can offer any wisdom if you've gone through a similar process like this before. So I will stop there. And please excuse me, my golden retriever in the background needs to come in from the porch. He's barking at me. So I'm just going to let him in.
Thank you, Kari. Well, I invite everyone to ask questions or add to the conversation. Remember, you can raise your hand, open your mic, or write in the chat.
Natasha.
Yeah, I have a question, Carrie. Thank you very much for this kind of review of what has been done so far and how it's just nice to look at it again, even though I am familiar with it. I know we have been talking for a long time about this, and I didn't realize that it's been 2 years, right? Like now when I saw like
Yeah,
2023. So my question is really like in this digital age when everything is happening so fast, is it too long? Has it been too long? Like, can we afford to do something for 2 years until we take action? Right? Like
right.
and I know you mentioned some of the administrative and the other things that needs to line up in order to get to the action.
I I think if it were about your team's competency, it would have been done much faster, but it's more about I think uh, the uh, the emotional burden that the whole global team feels about
Hmm.
this long-standing program, and almost all of the faculty members have taught for over a decade in this program, always on the same platform. And so I think it's more like it has felt like a really big decision to our colleagues in Sweden and South Africa. And when I remember the first time I brought it up in South Africa, it was a no, like we're not changing things like that. We're not changing it. This is how we've been doing it. And it has slowly, I think people have warmed up to it as I've shown demonstrations of what's possible on Canvas. And I think, also student feedback and complaints about the existing LMS have been, important for us to consider. But yeah, it's not a as I've learned through this process, transitioning an LMS isn't only about like the technical components of transitioning it. It's largely about
More
people's
about
readiness
people.
to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you. Yeah, change is always challenging, right?
yeah,
Regardless whether it's for the better or for worse.
yeah, exactly. And it introduces a new, like there is a huge level of trust that's required, especially like of Sweden, where they've been holding since the beginning of this program, t more than 20 years ago, they have been the ones providing the learning platform and responsible for it and responsible for providing staff to support it. And
Yeah.
so the trust that they have to establish with us in order to let go of that
Mhm.
has been a big step as well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments?
It's not as much of a technical presentation, just more of like a programmatic necessity.
However, I
Yeah.
did have a question regarding the technical side of it, because we think sometimes of technology or these elements as plain tools that work as a means towards providing a content. But as you mentioned, it seems that sometimes it's more than a tool, right? It becomes a whole conversation about who holds the
Yes.
tool in itself or what it implies for students and teachers in the learning curve of the tool in itself.
Yeah.
What recommendations do you provide for people thinking on the transition of programs, what we should be looking into for that transition?
Yeah. Well, I found that it was quite they opened their hearts and minds to it more when I brought them the demonstration of what I can do with this other platform. So when you just talk about this theoretical learning platform and people can't see it in action, it's very hard for them to envision like why it's better. But when I was able to yeah, so I think one of the recommendations I would give folks is to have a demonstration ready in some of the earliest conversations, so that people can and emphasize the user friendliness of the LMS or whatever platform you're using. That is, if it is user friendly. I mean, hopefully you're choosing something that is user friendly. Um, yeah, because I think, Natasha said, can we afford for it to take so long? And in some ways, no, but we couldn't have afforded to just, given this global relationship that we have, we also couldn't have afforded to just like boldly forge ahead and say, we're doing this and we're doing it within 6 months, even though we could have. I think we have like the competence to be able to do that. But it was more like it had to start as a relationship and a relational conversation first, and make sure people are on board before we forged ahead. So giving yourselves more time than you think you need, I believe is another element of hopefully a successful project. I can't say it's a success yet because we haven't completed it. But yeah, it's definitely like I feel personally, I think I'm going to have a lot more pride in my teaching because I will have the capabilities to do more of what I want to be doing creatively and giving students a better experience. Um, I really connect a bad learning platform to, it translates to me as an educator as like I'm less of a teacher if I have a learning platform that doesn't allow me to give students a good experience. So, yeah.
Thank you so very much. Are
Mhm.
there any other questions? Oh, okay. So thank you, Kari, for your insightful presentation and discussion. We appreciate the emphasis on the challenges and the transition that you have faced uh,
Yeah.
towards Canvas, and thank you for being here as well.
Thank you so much. And again, a big thank you to Natasha and Fiza for everything so far.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So that brings us to the end of today's virtual presentations. Before you leave, we'd love to hear your thoughts on today's session, and we invite you to complete a short feedback survey that is on the chat. Thank you so very much. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.